As Your Heart Betrays You, Part 16. A Miraculous Ladybug Fanfiction written and narrated by Mira. Artwork for the opening and thumbnail image by Evenart Adam on Instagram and Tumblr. You can find a link to their Instagram and their Tumblr in the description box below. And if you haven't heard the previous 15 parts, you can find them linked in the description box as well. Now then, if you haven't subscribed, what are you doing? We've spent hours together on this story. Come on. Be a boo. Anyway, don't forget to smash that like button and leave a comment in the comments section. If you don't know what to comment, put Adrienette. Please enjoy As Your Heart Betrays You, Part 16. Marinette Dupang Chang, 21 years old. Wait, you still haven't told Cat Noir you're going to the gala with Adrien? After he literally gave you date night birthday edition? Alia? They were at the kitchen table, Marinette rubbing her temples as Alia bullied the events of the night out of her. Please, we're not dating. You and Cat? Or you and Adrien? She ignored the smirk, asked and answered multiple times. Now, can we please catch up on this photo shoot? We should have finished them already, and we haven't. I mean, I guess you have a point after all. Your dating life did get in the way of business, Miss Girl Boss. Alia? But gossip is great for employee morale. You should listen to those entrepreneur books more often. Her grin, as wide as the sign, taunted Marinette from across the room as she got up to start the dishes. If you're in such high spirits, I'm sure you wouldn't mind me delegating some more projects your way? Alia snapped to a stony expression. I apologize, boss lady, she said, monotone. I will decrease morale to the bare minimum. Thank you. They laughed, rousing the Kwame's curiosity from the other room. They were taking turns shaking the snow globe Cat Noir got for her birthday, but, after brief glances, returned to the acrylic-cased engineering wonder. Never mind they were millenniums old. They'd always loved knickknacks. Despite her attempt at a cool demeanor, Marinette knew it would be a long day. Editing photos of her and Adrien? How could she not find herself swept up in has-beens and teenage longing? The angst of her yesterdays was sure to haunt her, pixel by pixel. But she was an adult, a business owner of a small startup. She could do this. She had to do this, despite how uncomfortable it made her. 3 hours seemed to be her limit. Not physically, as she'd worked through back pain and sore shoulders before, but the mental exhaustion of thinking about Adrien and the gala and how he broke up with her because he couldn't get over another girl. It swirled again and again and again until finally, she made it to the last photo. She could do it. Marinette could push through. Or she could get a drink. She liked that option a bit more. Yeah, she'd come back and finish this last photo after getting a drink. Heck, she could even tease the first post on their Instagram story while she stood in line to order. That would work. Their embroidery machine worked non-stop the last 3 weeks, so they would have enough product for the drop, even if they teased it. But even an escapade for drinks couldn't escape Adrien. She walked past the corner store he joked about being a drug front, and it all came flooding back. Each morsel of a feeling she'd fought away over the last day scratched at her insides, growing from the bed he planted when he paid for her things and saw her out. Shouldn't being in love with Cat Noir get rid of these feelings? Alia always joked it was possible to love more than one person at once, but in her experience, even trying it as a teenager, there was always a holy grail. a holy grail, but that doesn't mean you wouldn't betray those feelings for a treasure penciled onto a sketchy map. Forget betraying Kat. Her heart betrayed her, teetering between two men romantically when she knew both would end poorly for her. One already had. Her phone buzzed, and she slid it out of her pocket to see that Adrian texted. Adrian Agreste texted her. She didn't even have any messages from him prior because Tiki had her delete the text 2 years ago? The first text in 2 years. Is this a #treat yourself moment? She looked around, forgetting she stood in line for a drink. Okay, well, that's not entirely true. Marinette placed her order online and was doing her best to not wait awkwardly and make the barista feel rushed. She sent back a single question mark, then jumped when the guy in the corner stood and waved, making eye contact. Even with the blue light glasses, Marinette could recognize Adrian anywhere. "What did you get?" he asked, sliding his phone into his pocket and walking over. She hated how tongue-tied she got in front of him, even now. "Just a steamer." Marinette had to fight the urge to tuck hair behind her ear. "You were never one for caffeine." "It's the ADHD in me." "Is it?" She couldn't tell how much of his smile was business. "Too late for me to pay?" "That's my line, Mr. Model." She crossed her arms, phone still in hand, and did her best to appear suave. He raised his eyebrows, both of them, then relaxed back to a smile, a little less business and a little more friend this time. "How do you know Cat Noir, anyway?" "Besides being a damsel in teenage distress?" Marinette turned so they stood side by side in line as it shuffled forward. "Damsel?" She didn't have to look to know he did that thing where he twisted his lips to the side as he looked at the ceiling. "Yes, distress? Well, if anything, I remember you winning your fights with Chloe and Lila. Maybe not that physics project." "Listen, I can fight Lila any day of the week." She'd forgotten about her feeling great of a physics project on purpose, however. In fact, she'd worked hard to forget that ever happened. "But not pass physics?" It was that failure of physics that led to the two of them eventually dating, however briefly. Why bring it up in casual banter? Well, not banter, small talk. With an X. Small talk with an X. "And you?" Marinette turned to him. "How do you know Ladybug?" His face stiffened, if only by a single muscle as his breath caught. But as always, he let his cool facade drive the conversation. "I see her all the time at events." "True. So you chat her up?" No." Adrian glanced at his shoes as they stepped forward in line. "No, I don't." Also true. "Why?" He glanced at her, hands in his front pockets as he rolled his bottom lip between his teeth. "Because I know I'd fall helplessly in love with her." Adrian cleared his throat and looked up at the menu before she could so much as drop her jaw. Was she flattered? Jealous? She didn't have enough time to think it through as the barista called her name and she escaped to the counter. "That's, my drink. That's my drink."
Yeah."
Still not looking at her, Adrian grabbed it off the bar, holding it out for her to take. "Not a damsel, remember?" She took it anyway, pulling it to her chest like a buffer.
"It was nice to see you again, Marinette."
Adrian looked down, the height difference emphasized from being in person again. Like Cat Noir, he was a bit taller than she remembered him. I Marinette stepped out of the way of the next customer, putting the cup to her lips as she looked away. Can't seem to escape you. What was that? He leaned in, and she took another step back. Yep. She nodded a bit too eagerly. How do you not swoon when the top model in your country closes the distance between the two of you? Catch you later. Marinette would have liked to say she didn't flee the scene, but she knew herself better than that. Anyone watching would have thought her as the bumbling, awkward girl she became whenever Adrienne was in the room with her, however rare. Hopefully, she'd cool off as she walked along the cobblestone, but it was doubtful. But he said he fell for people quickly? Was that why he did a rapid style of dating? Was that why he dated her in the first place? And don't people who fall in quickly fall out quickly? And why now, after all these years, was he going on a date with Ladybug? Well, okay, she asked him, and it wasn't a date. Better not tell Tiki about this. Or Alia. The heartbeat in her ears was torturous enough to listen to on their own. She didn't need her roommates to add to it. Wasn't it just last night her heart drummed for her partner? Was she like Adrienne? Had she stayed away from him all these years, not for her heartbreak, but because she knew she'd keep falling for him with every spare glance and casual chuckle? Oh, what a kerfuffle. It'd be so much easier, even if it led to heartbreak, if her heart could decide on one of them instead of playing tug-of-war between her past and personal life and her present and rock-solid partnership. Marinette knew it would be her undoing if she didn't win against it, feeling every throbbing pulse. She should tell Cat Noir. Not her feelings for him, of course, but ask about Adrienne. Surely he'd tell her not to go back to an ex. That's all she'd need to put these feelings to rest. Advice from a guy with 9 lives. Yeah, Marinette would talk to Cat Noir about her feelings and going to the gala. Good. That's settled. Now she could enjoy her almond skim milk steamer, her thoughts slowing to the pace she kept her trip home with, instead of the whispering betrayal of her heart. Thank you so much for listening, and part 17 is on the way. In the meantime, you can check out these other videos for more fanfiction, and I will catch you in the next one. If you are still listening, comment kerfuffle. Bye!